Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to our council meeting tonight. I'd like to call our meeting to order. I'd like to start us off in prayer, if you don't mind, and from the prayer we'll go into the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Mr. McCullum, call roll, please.
All right. Councilman Roberts.
Here.
President Logan.
Here.
Councilman Hinton.
Here.
Councilman Davis.
Here.
And Councilman Hogg.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Item 4 is presentation. We do have 4 presentations, and as a point of personal privilege, I'd like to make sure that for those who are here, citizens who are here to either speak and comment on one of the presentations that we have 4: community branding, facade improvement, our citizen advisory group, Northport Water Park. Again, that's going to be presented by Pro Tem Hogg. Just as a housekeeping point, we'll try to limit our comments to the council in regards to any one of these presentations to about a minute. And if we needed to converse back and forth, obviously we'll do so. So I wanted to get our comments on the front end during this portion of our agenda on item 4, as opposed to waiting to the end where you're having to sit through government. I know you love government just like we do, but I know everybody's time is valuable. So I'll start with presentation item A, which is community branding. This is out of the retail committee group. And again, Max Snyder will lead us in this particular presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In early January, the Retail Development Committee approached the full council about sponsoring a community branding and logo development project. The City Retail Development Committee has been actively pursuing this project, and tonight we have the background info and the full recommendation for the council. The purpose of this project will be to capture the character of Northport and use it to establish a brand for the city. Part of that will be developing a logo, messaging, and other visual elements to help express the city's brand. So a lot of people ask, what is community branding? Well, it'll be a strategic approach to capture who we are and where we want to go. It'll share the character of our community and how people experience it. It also influences positive perceptions and assists with our recruitment efforts, be it business, residents, or visitors. One important thing is a brand doesn't make a community great. A brand shines a light on what makes a community great. I think we have a good story to tell here, and this project will help us better relay that message. As I mentioned in January, the city issued an RFQ on January 10th for responses for the community branding and logo development project. We received 10 proposals from various firms from around the country. All proposals were reviewed by the city's development committee, retail development committee. Responses were evaluated on the firm's ability to plan and analyze, engage focus groups, report back to the city, develop the brand, and implement the brand. Based on the retail committee's review, we are now recommending that the city contract with Red Sage Communications to conduct the project management for the project. Red Sage is an award-winning full-service marketing and creative communications agency. They are more than qualified, have decades of experience in marketing, and they have some award-winning brands and logos that they've developed. Their proposed approach would be a strategic planning and consulting with city leadership, then 2 to 3 focus groups with stakeholders, an initial findings report to develop the brand, and then the final logo and tagline development. The proposed timeline would be 4 months. Month 1 would be the planning, the focus groups in the second month, Tagline and logo development in the 3rd month, and finalization by month 4. The results of the project will be a community brand, a logo, adapted logo across city departments, a tagline, and visual brand standards guide. There will be a resolution later in the agenda authorizing this project for your consideration. If there are any questions, I can answer those now.
All right, Max, thank you. I do know we'll go right into presentation B. This is, again, from the retail committee, a proposed facade improvement. So I'll preface the presentation to say that our retail committee, along with the mayor and total council, we have really made an effort to be aggressive in attracting new to market retail and business. But in that same breath, I think we owe it to our existing business owners and businesses who actually create a lion's share of our sales tax revenue and community. So again, just strengthening that financial ecosystem through our existing businesses is important. So this facade improvement program will hopefully, if council considers passing a first reading tonight, will allow us to improve the relationship with the public and private sector, all while looking at improving the look of certain corridors in Northport. So Max, I'll lead into you. So we'll kind of tag team this one, folks. And again, if you have any questions regarding this one or concerns, please, after the presentation, you're more than welcome to come up. Max?
I want to set the stage for this conversation by talking about economic development in the city as a whole. As you can see here, this is our leadership team, our mission, and our goals. There are 2 goals that stand out for this conversation. That is to help existing businesses grow and succeed, and renew and rejuvenate our commercial areas. Well, when you sit back and you ask yourself, how can you do this? The answer a lot of times is funding through the city. So the Retail Development Committee is proposing that we establish a facade improvement program. The objective is very simple: provide financial assistance for exterior building renovations that will enhance the visual aesthetics of the city's major corridors, historic downtown, and riverfront. What are some of the benefits of the program? University of Wisconsin study actually found some of these results back in 2016. It usually led to an increase in sales of the participating businesses. You have a lot more traffic. You have first-time customers visiting. It also encourages a more intense and active use. So your restaurants, sit-down restaurants, a lot of your entertainment areas would then be attracted to this. It also motivates the adjoining property owners to take care of their buildings and sites a little better. It also motivates the applicant to do more improvements, be it interior or other site work. One of the biggest hurdles in trying to figure out how to start a program in Northport has always been the funding. The 2019 sales tax increase now positions the city in a way to better fund this type of assistance for existing businesses. Taking that additional sales tax, putting it in the rejuvenate bucket or funnel in this case, you can use that money on the recycle and waste reduction programs, the preservation projects, facade improvements, city facilities, and blight removal. So this project is eligible for that funding. The proposed program area, as you can see, it's a lot of our commercial corridors and historic areas of town. Also, one thing that we've incorporated to help kind of motivate some investment from the private world is the opportunity zones. The opportunity zones are a big deal for the private world because it allows them some tax breaks to improve their areas.
And just dovetailing, Max, and I didn't want to interrupt, that area that you see highlighted, folks, is basically Lurleen going into our city, where you look at the existing structure, you think, man, those buildings look really dated, which they are. And that's kind of the point that Max is really hitting home, that if we can get our policy off the ground, you would actually be looking to improve some of the facades of the existing businesses that you see along Lurleen, some that you see along McFarland and 82, and even some localized smaller businesses in that opportunity zone. So the opportunity zone is a federally designated area, like Max was saying, basically from 82 to the river. So we've got a lot of opportunities, pun intended.
I think that'll also open up the door for opportunities from funds from outside the city as well.
Right.
There are some opportunities on funds that then we can partner with larger state organizations to hopefully attract some of that funding into town. And along the same vein, backing up a little bit, there could be potential for state and federal funding sources to help the program in the future. That's just not a reliable and sustainable source at the moment. So the eligibility requirements, building owners and or tenants with lease authority may seek the funding assistance. The buildings must be used in whole or part for commercial, office, and or institutional activities. The proposed improvements must be visible from a public street. So what type of activities? Of course, you say facade, but it gets a little deeper than that. There are a lot of different construction activities that can go into that. A total storefront reconstruction, canopies, your windows, your doors, your masonry work, your paint, your light, any historical architectural elements, even all the way down to dumpster enclosures. The city's found that that's a often overlooked area, but it is very important. And landscape as well, it will be eligible. So the next steps, we're asking that the City Council review the ordinance, have a first reading tonight. Please review in the coming weeks, give your feedback. We'd also like to open this up to stakeholders for their review and potential feedback. Once we make any recommended changes, we'll bring it back for the adoption by the full council.
All right. Thank you, Max. Got one more. Max is going to discuss item C, the citizen advisor group that was helping with our subcommittee on parks and all things that are quality of place and quality of life. So, Max?
So the theme through the first three of these is economic development. And a lot of people don't look at recreation in that lens, but it very much is very important to this city. Now, it's also more important to our citizens. So this group was put together for that. Just a little background, this once again is another project that is tied to the sales tax increase. A portion of that can be dedicated to the quality of place in the city. So there was a subcommittee formed of the projects committee to look at recreation projects. One of the first things they noted was we need some community input. So with that, the subcommittee recommended the formation of the citizen advisory group to capture some ideas and then vet those through the process. Each representative of the city council appointed a member to this group. So as I kind of hit on that framework, projects start at the citizen advisory group, are then funneled up to the quality of place subcommittee, then to the projects committee, then on to the city council if projects committee gives it a green light. The mission is, once again, very simple: enhance the quality of life of our residents by improving recreation opportunities and boosting the city's quality of place. The group was tasked with studying the existing facilities and determine how they can be enhanced, identify some potential projects that would have immediate impact, and when applicable, assist with project prioritization. So some of the areas of focus are indoor and outdoor recreation, our civic centers, arts and culture, and social and cultural attractions. So far, this group has been very active. It has been a great group with a lot of good ideas. They're very dedicated. I think we've had 4 meetings so far, and each one probably lasts 2 to 3 hours. And they're very engaged, and they also work what I call them their time. They send a lot of info via email and are very engaged. They identified the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities in the city. They've identified already some short-term projects that have made it to the projects committee. We'll touch on those in a minute. And they're starting to discuss midterm projects. The one project recommendation is to relocate the Old Boys Club basketball courts. As everybody's aware, the proposed hotel, Courtyard by Marriott, will soon displace these basketball courts. That group is working with projects committee and other city staff to identify the best place for these. Another project recommendation is levee trail improvements. The group feels that by increasing and adding lighting, some rest stations, exercise equipment, and some other trailhead features, we may be able to increase the use on the levee. This has already gone to Projects Committee, will eventually come to the full City Council for consideration. Another project recommendation that came from the advisory group that made it out of Projects Committee is Civitan Park improvements. There's a lot of good ideas for that piece of property and how to better use a property on one of our major corridors in downtown. Some of the next steps, you'll see these formal recommendations coming to you, I would say, hopefully in April. We got a little more homework to do on some of them, but they'll be coming to you for your consideration. And the group's going to continue to meet to discuss mid and long-term projects. The mayor and councils are invited to give any ideas, and I can facilitate those going to the group. And I know if I don't want to speak on behalf of the group, but I know they're looking forward to continue working for the city.
Thank you, Max. Again, I didn't know if mayor or members of council wanted to add anything or had any questions or needed some better information. But again, a lot to take in. This is more presenting some information from that various group. And again, very good work on behalf of that subcommittee, Max. I really appreciate them working as hard as they have been. The facade improvement, again, is one that will help some existing businesses in our corridors to kind of improve the look coming into our city along 82 and Lurleen, especially even some of the smaller business owners that may need some information and or some assistance in that facade improvement. So that may be something that is immediately an immediate impact on help on that one too. So, and then the community branding. So Max, I don't know if you had anything else to add.
Unless y'all have any questions.
Thank you. The next presentation, item D, is a Northport Water Park or proposed presentation. It will be given by Pro Tem Hogg. Again, in our pre-meeting, we discussed the actual idea, and Pro Tem Hogg is will take the lead on this one. And actually, this is more of a information session, presenting the idea to not only mayor and council, but obviously the public. So, Councilman Hogg.
President Logan, I want to thank everyone who came here tonight to learn a little more about the idea of having a water park in Northport. For the ones that know me, you know that I like to think big. You know that I like to think outside the box. You know that I like to push the envelope and question why we do or don't do things. You also know that I speak my mind and tell the truth even when you may not like to hear it. My motto since being elected is old ways won't open new doors. Northport is not the same as it was 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. We have to have vision of what we want our city to be, not only now, but in the future. We have to be able to make tough decisions for what not only benefits our residents today, but what benefits us all in the future. We have the opportunity to do something great here in our city, and I'm asking for all of you in attendance tonight, along with our mayor and council, to have an open mind to this concept. Just because it's new and unfamiliar doesn't mean we hide from it. We have to embrace what people want and find a way, if within reason, to do it. Just to give you a background of how all this started, I posted a hypothetical question on social media if our citizens would support a water park. The response was overwhelming, and as each day passed, it kept growing legs and reaching far more people than ever intended. Local and out-of-town news stations began to see the social media trend, and from then on it grew to where I had to address it and do my homework to bring you this presentation tonight. It was the wishes of the citizens that got us to this point, and I feel honored to have your voice. 2016, most of us sitting up here took an oath to carry out the wishes of the residents. We promised to always listen and make the best decisions we could while being the voice of the people in our districts, and as for the mayor, the voice of the entire city. I personally do not take that lightly. For those that are in District 5, you know that I'm very in touch with the wants and the needs within our district. I promised that I would be that when I asked for your vote in 2016. The problem with politics in today's world is that people will say anything to get your vote. People will promise things or tell you that they will be your voice of the people that they represent. More times than not, they aren't. And it gives the ones like me a bad perception for trying to do the right thing. Since being elected, this is the largest idea that has been presented to council that deals directly with family entertainment. If we want to be a city that is proud of young families and puts kids first, it starts right here. It starts tonight. By a show of hands, who here is starving for family entertainment in Northport? Okay? And by a show of hands, who here is for the idea of the water park if it makes sense? This is why I do what I do. For each of you that raised your hands, for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, and for the future of Northport. Before I get into the presentation of my homework regarding this idea, I want to take the time to address the ones of you that may be on the fence or even against this project. The negative comments I have heard will all be addressed within this presentation. If you leave here tonight and still feel that same way, in my personal opinion, you are either 1, against growth in Northport, 2, you have no vision for the future of our city, or 3, do not care about the families and children that call Northport home. There is no secret that our city is starving for sit-down restaurants and family entertainment. While our retail committee has worked tirelessly on attracting these things, we can't always rely upon an outside developer to understand our city and our citizens' wants like we do here tonight. We can't make some businesses spend millions of dollars to invest into our city just because we want them to. What we can do, however, is control what we can control. It's no secret that many cities have looked at providing additional quality of life services for their residents. From the smallest of cities to the largest of cities, the ultimate goal is to use taxpayer money for items the residents need and want. I challenged the mayor and council in an email a few weeks ago with the question of, when our time is up, what do you want to be known for? Furthermore, what have we done to address the wants of our citizens in the past 4 years? Some could say, we paved roads. However, that's expected. Or we provided clean water, but that's also expected. Or maybe we provided a safe city to live in, but that's also expected. My point is, everything we have done to this point has been items that we are expected and charged with doing within our general budget. And I will be the first to tell you that we have done an excellent job of doing just that. However, where we are lacking is the extras, the wants, the items that give our city a wow factor. I have to commend the mayor and council for thinking outside the box and voting to raise the sales tax by 1 penny last fall. This was not for just items needed, but to address the wants of our residents. That is why this is a separate budget and it's not included in our general fund. The additional revenue, which is estimated to be an additional $5 million a year, is divided into 4 categories. Those categories are enjoyment, renew, recycle, rejuvenate, identity, and responsible. Tonight, let's focus solely on the enjoyment category, which is for addressing outdoor activity elements. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to determine that if a current estimated additional revenue from the sales tax increase will be $5 million total a year, and there are 4 categories to split that in, then each category will have an estimated $1.25 million each year. I want you all to remember that number, $1.25 million. This category is specific, so before anyone says we should use that money for roads, for infrastructure, or for anything else, just remember that this is a separate budget and it is only used for the purposes of addressing outdoor activity elements for our citizens. With that being said, can you think of a better way to address our outdoor activity than a water park? For over 3 years, we have worked well within our means. We have recruited new business and increased our cash flow. Our auditors have praised us each year by saying that our revenue is up and our expenses are down. What more can you ask for in a city government? So to hear that we cannot afford to look into a water park is preposterous on my part. We can't sit here and boast about being financially sound, then vote to raise your sales tax last fall and not give you something that you want. We must improve our quality of life for our residents and find a way for Northport to be a designation and not just a passing through city. I have been looking at various cities in Alabama and also out of state. Here are some numbers that should make each of you in the audience shake your head. And as for the elected officials, these numbers should make you mad because these cities are doing more for their residents and their economy indirectly than what we are doing. City of Fayette, you'll see there on the screen, at a population of 4,432,